Okay, we came out here for garnets to Denny Creek, which is on the other side of the highway. Right now I'm facing north. You can hear the highway that way, and it was closed. It's expected to be closed until December of this year, 2023. So we ended up talking to a Forest Service guy that was blocking the road, and he sent us to another spot just down the way, gave us some directions, and we ended up here, and he said we were looking for garnets too. So I was walking up here and I was like, this seems familiar. It's like the same kind of digging as when I was digging quartz in this area before. And in my head I was like, maybe the people here do the same kind of digging in the hill for the garnets as they do for the quartz. But I was like, I don't see schist or anything like that. And then I found the site with all the holes and everything, asked some people here what they were finding, and they showed me a bag of quartz, and I was like, I've been here like 9 years ago. So let me explain the site to you, because I never made a video in the past, but I know the site pretty well. Not as good as locals, but I explored it when I was younger, meaning I hiked all the way to the top. When you get to the very top of the hill, there's claims. Just to show you right now, I'm actually down on the trail portion. But as you go up, you'll see these spider holes. That's what I call them. They're everywhere, and you want to hop in one and dig the what do I want to call it? Aggregate, the sand, the dirt. Just start digging it, scooping it out, and looking for the quartz crystals in it, because it's scattered throughout. You're not chasing it in veins or seams or anything like that. It's just float, but it's buried float all throughout the hillside here. So if you want to go to the top, it's steep. Here's the incline that you're looking at. Like, it's not an easy day of hiking. Some people can do it, some can't. But anyway, at the very top, there are claims. You can get up there and find them. And apparently the best crystals are up there. Like, don't go on people's claims, but up near them at the top of the free kind of digging area. However, I dug up there. I dug mid slope, and I dug at bottom slope, down really on the trailhead. You find the exact same stuff all throughout the mountain here. If it's coming down from the top of the mountain, sure, it's going to get scattered and less abundant as you go lower, but you can actually go down lower from the trail too and find these spider holes everywhere. It has been dug for years. Like, there's a lot of hand labor movement here. So honestly, you don't need to hike that high. Go 25 feet, 50 feet up in there. Just find a hole that doesn't look filled in and just start working it. So let me kind of show you what the holes are that you're looking for here. And by the way, it's Hansen Creek. The only thing you're going to find here is quartz crystals. You're going to get maybe a handful by the end of the day. A lot of them are going to be opaque. A lot of them are going to be shattered, but you are also going to find very ice clear ones, some with broken tips. It's rare to find the good ones, but they do exist here, but you just got to move a lot of dirt. So mostly you're going to find kind of boring quartz for, some family that wants to be out for the weekend. That's just my personal opinion, having been spoiled and buying, $1 million worth of Brazil quartz over the years. So let's get into it. So I call these things spider holes. You could call them hobbit holes or whatever you want. There's nothing really living in them. I don't think so up here. But ultimately what it is if you look at the hillside, people find the tree roots and they dig under the tree roots, because the tree roots hold the overburden together, meaning this top part. Like, imagine you're digging a hole here. Let me run up. So you're digging a hole, and you're gonna be undercutting it, and eventually you got to deal with the top that's gonna slump and drop. It can become very unsafe in a big hole that you're actually sitting inside, because it can collapse on you. So a lot of people will dig under the tree roots, because the tree roots hold all that overburden together, and they can go farther into the hole without having to deal with spending a lot of labor shoveling that overburden dirt when it drops. So you kind of gotta, how would I say this, do some not engineering, but kind of look at each hole and figure whether it's been dug to the maximum amount, or if you can go further into it and make a safe, educated guess as to whether you can or not. The thing you're looking for though is a hole that hasn't been filled in. So let me find some for comparison. Okay, let's talk technique. Someone here was digging straight down into this hole. That's a lot of excess labor because you got to dig down, lift all that burden, and throw it out. By the way, they missed one. There's a quartz crystal there. So you could run around and surface pick. Before I tell you about that, essentially you got to lift it and throw it, which is a lot of labor and energy expenditure when you want to kind of scoop sideways, because this is right a big slope that we're on. We want to scoop sideways and just shovel it down the slope. What I meant by they missed one is when all these rocks are coming out of the dirt, a lot of them are going to be covered in mud, and it's just going to look like an ordinary shaped rock, and it's going to get missed and thrown down the hill or thrown at the entrance of the dig hole. And then when it rains, the rock is going to get exposed, the dirt's going to get washed off, and you're going to see that icy glint. So this is what you're looking for, is either the hexagonal sides of the quartz crystal, right? Those flat planes with the articulated edges, the acute edges, sorry. And that'll give you the shape of the rock that you're looking for. Or you're looking for that iciness, something that looks like an ice cube in the dirt. Whether it's opaque or transparent, it will stand out for that reason. And so you can save some energy and just run around and surface pick and just bend over each time you see something that looks like a crystal, and then you don't have to dig. But it's going to be a lot of movement, right? Because you got to hobble over all these trees, duck, dodge, dive, and dodge, basically, all throughout it. And it's almost just as tiring as just sitting down and moving dirt. So up by there, beside me, people are using a screen. Like a 1/4-inch screen is good. 1/8 screen is okay too. But the screens help because you can actually take your shovel full of dirt, put it in the screen, sift it, and all the dry, loose dirt will fall through. And then you check it for bigger chunks of quartz crystal. It's one way. I think it's just extra work. I like to just slowly smooth the pile over that I've just dug out, kind of check it, and if nothing's there, throw it to the side, get a new pile of dirt to look at. So here's a fresh hole, right? Especially if you're going to wander around and look for the fresh waste piles. By the way, I don't know if I've ever said this. A waste pile is something like this. A lot of people refer to it as tailings. A tailing involves water, like a settling pond is a mining term. So this is just a waste pile, just so you know. Next thing anyway, this is a fresh hole. When you dig in there, you can take your rock pick or your shovel, and you want the pointed tip of your rock pick, and you're just going to start scraping at the sidewalls there, removing rock and dirt and bringing it out. And like I said, just slowly going through it, checking for anything that looks like a quartz crystal. If nothing's in there, you just send the whole amount down the hill, make room for the next batch, right? So that's, you're just moving dirt, checking it all the time. You can have a buddy, like one person digs, one person checks the dirt. You'll probably become efficient that way, but then you got to split the rocks, right? Who wants to do that with your pretty crystals? So let me show you an overburden hole, and then we can show you what you don't want to do, because you want someone to have done half the work for you. That's what I'm getting at here, is we can tell the dirt is fresh by just obviously the color difference, but also there's not things that have rolling down the slope through, you know, rainfalls and snow melts and frost and all that have kind of filled it in. So let me just find a hole just so you have a visual of the difference. All right, this isn't my optimal example, but it's a medium one here. And we can see some relatively fresh dirt. But overall, when I look at this hole, a whole bunch of fresh pine needles have fallen in the entrance. Now you can still get in there and scoop. And so it's an okay hole to dig. And again, I call them spider holes because you can see all the cobwebs there, hanging things, right? I've got dreadlocks, so as soon as I hop in there, I got dirt raining down in my hair. And I've kind of described this site in the past as one of the ones where you do all this labor, you get so much dirt in your hair, and you got to deal with the bugs, and you get a handful of broken quartz at the end, whereas you can buy a giant bag of it for like $50 from Brazil, and they've all got points and they're way nicer. But of course, everyone likes to come out and just experience it. So it's worth it to come. I'm not trying to tell you guys not to. Just know that you're not going to get rich out here at this site. You're just going to have the pleasure of being out in nature. Okay, let's find a hole that's kind of caved in. So this is a tiny hole, but this is sort of what I mean. We see all these pine needles, a rock has fallen into the hole that you got to move. So why put all that energy into cleaning out a hole when you can just hop in someone else's that they've done that for you, right? So just wander around till you find an area with fresh parts. Ooh. And here's a good example of when it starts getting a bit sketch. So again, tree here holding it together. Super light rock, that's only what, like 200 pounds. You could let that fall on you, no problem, and you'd be fine, right? Anyone could take that hit. But this is something where if the ground collapses in there, that rock drops through, that's gonna hurt. But it is a nice deep fresh hole. I know there's pine needles at the front, but someone's done a lot of work. Now, just because it's deep doesn't mean it's any better than the shallow ones. It just means someone's dug into it. The crystals aren't deep down. That's not the case. They're just, like I said, randomly scattered as float within the dirt all throughout here. So, and I'm sitting down, so you can see this slope. It's no joke to go hiking for probably, I'd say, a good 15 minutes by memory, 20 minutes to get to the top of it's exercise, let's put it that way. And you can dig the same things here. Like I said, you don't have to get the deepest hole. You just have to have something started into the embankment, and you don't want to be, digging into someone's waste pile. That's the other thing. So make sure you're digging a hole and you're removing fresh dirt, not waste pile that then someone has started, a hole into this waste pile or something. It should be common sense, but now it's been said to you. So come out, have fun, bring some snacks. The hike in is about 25 minutes to the digging site. As you get closer and closer, you'll start seeing digging holes on the trail at even like 19 minutes, 18 minutes of hiking kind of thing. If you're a quick hiker, you can make it here in 20 minutes, no problem. Maybe even a bit sooner. But essentially, so if you're doing a 25-minute hike, think of the relativity here, you'll see the dig holes starting up on the high side of the bank here around 18 minutes. Skip them. Just keep walking until you're like just surrounded by dig holes. You should see other vehicles parked at the trailhead, and you'll find those people and you'll hear them talking and going, "Oh, I found one," and hearing their shovels and stuff clanging. But even so, I'll try and find a landmark and take a video for you so you recognize the dig sites. But as soon as you get to the dig sites, it's like as far as I can see up the hill, you're just seeing holes, little holes everywhere. Same with down the slope, and the trail will also get to an impasse point. Most of the way, it's like this nice gravel kind of trail. Sometimes it's got an incline to it, but overall it's well kept. And as soon as you get to the dig sites, it's not kept anymore. So you do come to a termination at the dig sites where you start having to hobble over all kinds of trees, and you just seem to lose the trail. So that's your indicator that you're here. Okay, so here I found someone else's spider hole. Right, nice big one. This one's pretty deep. Actually, that's more than pretty deep. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus here. All right, that one you could fucking live in. All right, so I was making my social media versions, and I was just explaining the tailing stuff here. Someone was screening. You can see the big pieces they threw off, and when it's a pile like this, I kind of scooped through it with my hands there. But normally it's a mound, and that means that they were running the screen and everything was dropping right there. But I was realizing they missed a lot, whoever was here. They might have just been only going for the good stuff, but there's a lot, and we're just looking for anything shiny, right? If it looks like ice, that's what we're looking for. So I've been surface picking here. I found a few points, and a few of these I gotta clean off with some water later. But you'll see this, the luster, right? So even on that one there, see it's got this like flash to it. I'll pull that one out, and that might actually even be a point. Look at that. That one's got a point on it. So you can see that glare, and you can go through the dirt here, and some are just going to be kind of more the milky white variety. But I don't know if I just got the eye for this or what, or this person was just setting me up. But they're everywhere here. Lots of little pieces, the ones that, you know, fell through their screen. So I don't even really have to be digging and doing the labor, because they're scattered throughout here. Like I said, look for the things that look like ice. So let me find one more for you, just to there. They're going to be covered in dirt. They are going to be a bit difficult to see compared to the other rocks, because they're the same colors, but they're the only ones that are going to blink back at you. There. It's going to have those flat, faceted type faces, and those are going to catch the light and blink it at a certain angle. So as you're moving around, think like bobbing like a snake, right, up and down, side to side with your head, and they'll blink at you if you give them the chance to. So sunshine does help. So when you take your dirt out of the hole, pour it into the sunshine. Don't sit so that you cast a shadow into the sunshine. You can bring something to lay on if you want. I'm just going to scan the hole here and see what's in it. There. I see the blinkiness right here. Something's blinking at me. Could be small, it could be big. But, tiny little one. But, tell me that's not quartz, you know what I mean? There you go. Actually, that looks like a little double terminated one. So, they are here. You can definitely find them. You gotta move a bunch of your own dirt, or let someone else have done the work for you. Like I said, I'm the lazy type. I'd rather just wander around, pick up the scraps, and then go buy a bulk bag down at Tucson or something. But hey, if you can't travel, come have fun. It's just nice to be in nature. Okay, one last tip for all of you that were willing to listen to my voice for this long is come after it's rained. Meaning everywhere people step, their footprints relieve more stone, right? Feet go like that. Everyone's tailings, it all gets washed. So a couple days after it rains, and you'll be out here just looking at sparkles everywhere, because new stuff will be exposed that people were missing. When you dig, everything comes out covered in dirt. It's actually pretty tough to spot the pieces. It's not impossible. You can find them. Some come out and they're glaring at you through the dirt. But yeah, after it's washed, that's when surface picking is optimal, and you can just move through and watch for those flashes. I know that's a tiny little one, but here's my bag. So far, that's about 1 hour of trying. I know it just looks like regular rocks in there, but I promise they're proper quartz crystal chunks and pieces. A lot of them are chipped, battered, and bruised, but who in this world isn't, right? So, come on out, find your quartzes. So, this is essentially the trail end, or I guess where the digging starts. You got a cone here, but you'll start seeing ribbons tied to the tree. So if you get lost, find the pink ribbons, and they will guide you out, or deeper in if you want the quartz. Okay, that's all. This is the trail back, and it gets a lot more even than this. I'll show you the parking lot, and that's all. Okay, this is the trailhead, and the road curls up here in front of it, but you'll recognize the boulders. It's on the second switchback here, first or second, depending on how to define a switchback. You'll see all the vehicles that are parked on the side. They may not be here every day, but today it's very busy. The road you can see, I mean, this vehicle made it up, the Honda Fit. We only did a little love tap with the ground a couple times. But there's another car. It's bumpy, it's rocky. There's holes and like potholes, and it's not the easiest, but you can make it with any car. Just don't bring your brand new Tesla or Lambo up here. That's basically it. But anything else can make it. It's just a little bumpy. That's all I got for you. I don't know what season is best. Like, I'm from somewhere else in the world, so I can't tell you whether winters are going to be bad or not here. But if the Snoqualmie Pass is bad, that probably means your Hansen Creek crystals are not going to be a good place to go either.